We're here at the goats now, and I'm going to show you what they need and how they stay warm during these Arctic blast weather. One thing we need to remember about pigs and goats is they're entirely two different animals when it comes to staying warm. Your pigs always need those calories because they're monogastric. They just have one single stomach. They're not a ruminant, and they need to feed to make calories to produce energy to stay warm. Goats are exactly the opposite. I'm not saying not give them any grains, because we're supplementing about 1 pound per goat per day mid-afternoon, but what a goat needs is they have to have some long fibers. And for us, our pastures are just about gone, or are gone. There's not much for them to pick. They still do a little bit during the day. But what they really need is hay. For us, that's the fibers that they need, is this hay. Look at you, Marilyn. You think you got to be king of the hill, don't you? She's definitely the herd leader here. This lighting is horrible, I know it is. Let's find a place where we can talk. So, goats need somewhere dry. They like to have a shelter. Do they have to have it? No. If you've got plenty of wood lots or wood land where they can get in some brush and stuff, that's good. But they do like to have a shelter, and it is good for them if they've just got a 3-sided windbreak. Maybe if nothing else, if it's going to be an Arctic blast, if you just put out a row of hay bales just to break the wind for them. I saw Greg Christensen doing that on his goats. Or for me, we're lucky we have a barn. It's not heated, it's just a barn structure, but some of my other pastures, I just have some lean-to structures, and I have some calf hutches that I use. This is an extra calf hutch that we have. It's just a 3-sided shelter that they can get in and out of the wind and stay kind of dry. But the main thing they need is some long fibers. Unlike the pigs, goats are ruminant animals, which means they have a ruminant that breaks down the hay. As the goats eat those long fibers down into the ruminant, or take them down into the ruminant, the bacteria in the gut and that first stomach, that ruminant, starts to break down those fibers. And that bacteria and that breaking down of those fibers to get those proteins and energy they need out of it, that process actually causes a generation of heat. And that heat is like an internal furnace for them. It keeps them warm from the inside out. Now, we supplement some grain to them, about 1 pound per head per day is what we're doing now, especially in this cold weather. And the reason we're doing that is our hay is not the highest quality. So that's why we're giving them that extra boost of protein that they need to maintain their body condition. It's really not for heat per se, but it's to maintain their body condition. And of course, a good body condition helps maintain their heat. But the long fibers are what they need for for them to generate that heat and keep that rumen working. A lot of times I like to feed my grains earlier in the day, just after lunch, or maybe even in the mornings. It's kind of according to you. From what I've read, if you've got that grain in the stomach, in that rumen, and it's had time to work its way out, in the afternoon they get the long fibers and the hay. That allows their ruminant to work better, so they're not going to sleep at night with a belly full of grain, which doesn't make that internal furnace well. So they're actually warmer if you feed them the grains earlier and then let them fill the ruminant in the afternoon with grass or hay or whatever your fiber content is for them. You can see our shelter is very minimal. We've got sawdust and shavings down in here. Just a dry bedding for them to keep them dry, and then a basic 3 sides when they pack in here, they do real well with it. Just kind of a windbreak. Nothing fancy, no heat in here, no heat lamp. Just a run-in shed for them to stay warm in. Just to recount, goats, they need a dry place to get, a dry place to lay. And the main thing that the goats need is something to make that bacteria in the gut work so that internal furnace keeps them warm. You need to keep their body condition up for sure. That's why we're supplementing with some sacked grains, some feeds. But we want to do that earlier in the day so that when they lay down at night, their ruminant's working, they can chew their cud, and it keeps that bacteria churning and working, and their internal furnace keeps going. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope this will help you figure out how to keep your goats warm in this Arctic weather, this Arctic blast that we've had. It was 2 degrees this morning. As you can see, they're filling their ruminant now with some nice long fibers. Going to keep that ruminant working, that bacteria working, keep that internal furnace lit, and keep them warm for the day. So we thought that you'd seen us do many times set up when things are going to get bad. And I just wanted to kind of take a minute and show you how our systems work once they get set up and how the goats actually react to those systems. So guys, thanks for watching. Go down, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and as always, we'll do it all again tomorrow.